Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Offside Hand.
The Authors podcast. In this episode, after a long gap, we talk about football. We talk about our beloved Liverpool and things that's happening in around Liverpool Football Club, starting from Salah, the form, and talk through our ideas of how do we get back to form. Join us.
Hey Arvind,
Ashri.
uh, after a lot of positives in the last video, I'm sad to say we're here to talk about a lot of negatives. So that means we're going to talk about Liverpool FC.
I mean, it's strange and it's sort of weirdly a familiar feeling where you associate negative or sad or slow things with Liverpool. I say that because I mean you would know like for the longest that I have been or we have been following Liverpool. We've always had dejections and disappointments and defeats to simply put, but. Off late things have been different, and when I say off late, it's the last 5 6 years. But the very off late, like the very recent things are, I don't know, disturbing,
Spicy, spicy.
spicy, and yeah, disturbing and
Yeah.
disappointing as well.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's definitely like a far cry from the last time when we had a football like video where Liverpool were flying high and like Liverpool was all these players, world class, world beaters, and we thought this is just gonna be one of those seasons where we just dominate and then we stamp our authority. And
Yep.
to see where things have gone and to the point where, yeah, I mean, the recent news about Salah and Slot has been, I'll say, probably the worst that it could get in terms of where the club could be. I don't know.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it was. How do I put it? This was the last of the problems we would have wanted. Like we were already like going through a tough time,
Yeah.
and needless and totally stupid to
Yeah.
to have had this happen. But yeah,
Yeah.
here we
So,
are.
yeah, I mean,
This is a
let's dive
topic of
right,
discussion.
yeah, let's dive right into it. So I'll
Mhm.
first ask you, like, see, just as a background, Slot dropped Salah for a few games. Carragher had a few things to say where he said Salah was out of form, he wasn't pulling his weight, and all of that. And
Yeah.
eventually, like Salah comes out after our recent 3-3 draw to Leeds, and then gives like this explosive interview saying somebody doesn't want me at the club, and people are trying to get me out of the club. I'm being made
Mhm.
scapegoat, and all of that, all of that, all of that. Now it is pretty much a Salah versus Slot, and to the point where Salah has been dropped from the Inter Milan UCL squad, and Liverpool are going in without him, and it has
Yep.
been publicly addressed. Let's start with the reviews. Like, who do you side on in this case? Like, I know it is not that straightforward, but let's.
Yeah. I mean, I would say. I mean, a simple answer to which side or what side I side on or what side I lean on is I lean I or we support Liverpool Football Club, right? So my support, my allegiance is always to the club,
Mhm,
and manager players are call it like representative of the club.
mhm.
Ultimately, I think the club is the club's image, club's form, club's status is at stake. So, I would definitely side on the and lean on the side of the club, and hence, as a function of which, Arne Slot here as well. Uh, I was uh, I was watching a lot of interviews, right? I watched interviews from journalists, from experts, mandates, ex-players, and all had, I would say, different things to say. They all gave different perspective. My initial reaction was like, what the flipping thing have we heard? Like, what's wrong with you? Like,
Yeah.
and honestly, and I sort of carried that notion until I heard Gary Lineker and like Alan Shearer speak, and sort of they got a player's perspective of it, which slightly changed my not opinion again perspective of the whole episode. But again, doesn't really change my overall take on what's happening. Their take was, hey, as a player, especially as like a top player, it's there's no two doubts that
No,
Salah is you
he is.
you you definitely earn some credits, which is again subjective, but and you can he's absolutely right to feel the way he felt. That is, you cannot take it away from him for sure. Any player, any sort of apex or top caliber player who's been playing the sport for so long time will definitely feel bad to be dropped. We see that in cricket, we see that in other sports as well. So the way he felt, there's nothing wrong in what he felt. I think the objection or the problem is the fact that you come out in public media unannounced and go on this rant, which and say things like thrown under the bus and all of that. I honestly feel, bro, for a club that goes by the slogan of "You will never walk alone" and sort of symbolizes or embodies that, you chose to walk alone here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
if at all anyone has been thrown on the bus, like you decided to throw the
the man.
club, the manager, and I think most importantly the players as well. Say for example, I was listening to Alison Becker's interview as
Yeah,
part of the lead up to Champions League game.
game. Yeah.
All the questions was Mo Salah, Mo Salah, Mo Salah, Mo Salah, and I feel bad for Alison Becker to have to come out and sort of uh, defend the situation, in the sense, of course, he setting the club and players perspective as well, but then you let your teammates down, bro. Like, you sure, you've done stuff, there's all the credibility, but then I think no one just like walks into the team. Your performance, which arguably is a function of how the team is also functioning, performing, has an impact as the role. But then I don't think you can really come out and say all of that.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
a lot
you're
more to say than it, but
yeah, you're actually spot on, because my general thought about that is, I mean, I'm kind of neutral in the sense that, because I am not very happy with a few things that Slot is also handling about
uh-huh.
the club. So I'm not really saying it's purely Salah's fault. But in this case, I will absolutely side with Arne Slot, in the sense that whatever it is, when the team was winning last year, like dramatically winning, it
Exactly.
was a team effort. But absolutely, you got a brunt of the credit. You got majority of the credit, to the point where it is like Salah has carried Liverpool Football Club. Like,
Mhm.
that was the narrative, and everybody was more than happy to feed into it. You yourself were. Like,
For
everybody was
sure.
so
Yeah, yeah,
into it, and you got your due credit when the team was doing well, you were performing and all of that. But when you're getting that credit, you have to understand that as a professional player, you're gonna get a lot of criticism when the team doesn't do well, because you got a new contract. You're the highest paid player in the club's, I don't know, history or whatever, for a while, for a long time now. And then now you're honestly not pulling your weight. Like, he has looked devoid of creativity. He has missed guilt edged opportunities. Like, so many teams have publicly come out calling out his defensive work rate or lack of it, to say we exploited
yeah.
that to score against Liverpool. So, having said all of that, you can see that you honestly are in a place where you are not going through the best of forms. That is why I believe it is unfair of him to say he's been scapegoated, because when you are getting the praise, you're going to get the criticism. On the split side, I think his dissatisfaction or his unhappiness is actually coming from the fact that,
He was benched.
yeah, no, not just him. Like, the team is playing badly, but
Right.
if you think about it, only he's benched. Like, if you think about it, Isaac honestly hasn't done anything, has actually missed a lot of chances, but
Yep.
he starts like pretty much most games when Ekatike should be starting. So that is one. Secondly, like, the player that I currently, I'll say he's my second most hated player after Vinicius. It's Gakpo. Like, honestly, uh, like I was going to use this as a tagline. He in this three-dimensional world, he's a one-dimensional player. That guy has actually, even in the Leeds game, right? I've seen him break down so many of Liverpool's attacks because of his lack of creativity or his lack of a left foot, frankly, because all he does is cut inside. I mean, and Florian Wirtz, you can say he has been great. He has created chances. People haven't finished it and all of that. But absolutely, Florian Wirtz himself has not lit up the Premier League, the team, whatever, in the way that you would expect, where he has taken charge of games and made something out of nothing. Like, you don't pay 120 million for like just another
Hmm.
facilitator all. So that's one. You have a McAllister who was the linchpin of this team, but isn't doing anything great this year. But he is not being scapegoated. You have arguably Virgil van Dijk and Konate, who are, I'd say, one of the most leakiest centre back partnerships at this point in the league because, I mean, they don't inspire confidence. I mean, given and Kirkes is, yeah, I mean, as we all know, it's a well documented struggle for him. Like, so pretty much 9 or 8 out of the 11 are struggling. But it seems like Salah is being benched. Like, why is nobody else changed? I think that, and the fact that Liverpool were 3-2 when Arne Slot did not decide to bring on a certain Salah but actually brought on an Isaac. I think that is probably what blew his heads off, and he kind of went on this rant because, yeah, I mean, he expected at least to come out and play and contribute.
Yep.
And so I would say it is definitely wrong to come out in public and give such comments when you should actually be speaking as a leader of this club in the dressing room.
Yeah, that was my point as well. Like, I had a small, different take on him alone, quote unquote, alone being dropped.
Mhm.
That's not like a factually correct statement, in my opinion. Like, sure, Isaac has probably been given a long rope, relatively, depending on when
Yeah,
you compare it to say an Hugo Ekitike. But then I would say Salah started most of the games that Isaac has started as well, barring the last three games. Like last three games, evidently, or probably were the only games that he was dropped.
yeah,
And arguably, if you take the Crystal Palace game where the entire first team was sort of
yeah,
rotated or rested, you can't really count that. So it's so I mean, if someone has to really, I'm probably digressing here. I was going to say, if someone has to really feel for not being selected or even getting an appearance from the substitute bench, is probably like Federico Chiesa. That guy like just sheds sweat and blood, and every time he gets a chance and still doesn't get to play. So and hence I think that's not so accurate,
portrayal
description.
by.
Yeah, but that's it. I was also curious. Like, I'm sure no manager just drops a player, right? I'm sure Slot would have had some conversation. I'm assuming that's the most difficult conversation a manager can have. But I also think that Slot overall is a good manager and not sort of naive enough to not address or go talk to Salah and talk about why he's being listed. And also role reversal, right? Let me think about this. And this is also sort of leading into Salah being dropped, right? Overall, we've been conceding goals left, right, and center. Like arguably,
Not
not
scoring,
argue.
not even scoring either. Like last game was when we scored three. Otherwise, we
It,
haven't.
it, yeah, exactly. We've been, we've not been second balls, which is tactically one of the greatest, bigger things in Premier League. We've not been winning that. And playing him is and defending is technically you are like one man down. You're just 10 men defending the trying to win the ball back. So
Mhm.
as a manager, you would, when you're trying to shore up your defense, you would someone want who you would want to get someone who is more work defense minded, or has more work ethic to put in into sort of fight to get the ball back. So and hence I think naturally that's hence it's a natural decision to sort of drop him.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it is only fair, right? See, at the end of the day, it's not an indictment of him alone. It's an indictment of the club. The manager is trying to do probably everything and anything that he
correct,
can
correct. Yeah, yeah.
in the game. Maybe he's not doing enough. That is something we'll speak about in the next
Yep.
segment. But I think the one thing here is see, Arne Slot, the thing we loved about him last year, at least from a general communication perspective, is he was very straightforward in your face. If he
Mhm.
had a tactic, he'll tell that to you. If somebody plays bad, he calls him out. When Eketike got that red card for the shirt thing, he called him out. He's been very brutally honest.
Yep.
Maybe when things are going well, that is refreshing. When things are going well, that bluntness has come across as disrespectful or whatever. Maybe that is what Salah took. You don't really know what transpired behind.
Yeah, and I also, just to add a contrasting point, there is in the lead up of, if you take the last three games out, Slot actually has been publicly defending Salah. Uh, you know, people or journalists have asked the question, like, what's happening with Salah, and are you worried about his form? I distinctly remember his words were like, Salah's the last person he would worry about. So it's not that he has been, has not been defended or has been, thrown under the bus of the coach. And the one thing, other glaring thing that I would, I highly, highly agree with what you said is tough time beckons, right? Like overall, team as a whole is going through crisis. You need like true leaders who would like
Yeah.
sort of champion themselves in these moments and really carry and rally the team forward. We've seen Van Dijk do that, and I have some comms with Van Dijk as well. We'll get to that. We've seen Van Dijk do that. Robertson has done that. Curtis in one of the games after
Wow.
the loss
That
or
was
draw, it was very spirited of him to come out and say that. So if that is what is expected out of the senior most team member like Salah as well, for him
you.
to. Yes.
No, no. I mean, I had a very like a eureka
No,
moment, but
go for it, go for it. No, I was just going to end by saying that if at all any time that you would really want to be like really etched in the memories and be a legend, like you got to be standing up now and have that war cry going and like rally your team.
yeah, I mean that's totally. One thing that we probably missed. Salah has been at the club for 8 years.
Mhm.
Salah has been like whatever, like a senior figure for the past 5 years. But if you remember, Jurgen Klopp and Arne Slot made Joe Gomez the captain or even Roberto Firmino the captain, but they've never ever made a Mo Salah as the captain. Like, have you wondered? Because he's always one of the leadership people, one of the leaders in the team, but they've never
Yeah.
put them. Maybe they know something that we don't.
Yeah, and in the hindsight, you might want to think that they understood his personality to an
Yeah.
extent that they knew he can, as much as he can put inspirational performances, he's probably not the guy to inspire the team and like shake them up when they're losing confidence.
No, I won't say he's not the person, but I think maybe they saw a propensity in him to be more, how do I say, what's that word for when someone can be very instantaneously like inflammable, whatever you call
So
that. Like
impulsive or
imp-
implode.
impulse. Correct,
Mm.
correct. Impulsive is the word I was looking for. Yeah. I mean, this is pretty much impulsive, right? I mean,
Yeah,
this that. So, I mean, I hope he gets back his form. I hope he does well because, like the one memory
so
that kind of stands out is the first weekend against Bournemouth. He scores that fourth goal, and then he's really crying when the cop is singing his name and Diego Jota's. I know what he means, like what the club means to him. I mean, when I say I know from whatever I've seen on social media and his reactions and all, and I surely understand that he must be hurting to not be able to contribute or be on that pitch trying to like get the team further up, and not for a lack of trying.
sure.
Like, see, because in against the was it not the Sunderland game? I don't know which game. I think PSV, I believe, some game. Like
Mhm.
when he played, he was really trying hard. He was trying to take the ball. He was trying to run. The spark was just missing. Like
Yeah,
creativity is pretty much like that. You have it one day, you just don't.
yeah. No, I agree. The other thing I was also going to add was he's also sort of notorious or notorious to to have also done it in the past. Like we know his
Yeah,
sort of famous feud with like Mane,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that sort of ultimately led Mane going out. Like Mane, you would say is one of probably the one of the nicest person in the team.
Yeah.
If you could pick up a fight with him, then man, that shows something. And then similarly, versus I would say during one of Klopp's last game,
West Ham.
yeah, West Ham, he got dropped. He said if he would speak, there would be fires. And
Yeah,
then also during his contract negotiation times, he does have a history to sort of use media or
yeah,
media appearances to sort of instigate and say things that are a bit insightful and try to sort of sway try to do the power play to sway the sort of advantage in his favor.
yeah.
uh but yeah, all said and that, like what do you think is the like how do you think this is going to end or sort of turn up from here? What's the sort of ideal or the best case, what's also the most sort of practical case, if there is two different scenarios that you would you differentiate it.
No, I mean, I don't think there is ever a doubt as to what the best case is. The best case is a team returning to the form that it had last year with Slot, like driving it, and then you have
Hmm.
Salah scoring goals, assisting everything. Like that's the ideal scenario that you are really looking for. But
Right.
practically speaking, technically,
Hmm.
this set of games should be our easiest run of this season. Like, I'm not saying Sunderland is easy, or
Yep.
I'm not Brentford is easy, or whatever. Like these teams are Leeds away is easy because
Yep.
Leeds beat Chelsea like a week ago, like I think last midweek. So I'm not saying they're easy, but compared to when we were playing Aston Villas and the Manchester Cities and Chelseas and Arsenals, this is definitely easier in terms of the league positions if you check those teams. So the best thing that Liverpool can do is put their heads down, work their backsides off,
Hmm.
run, and create that and make your own luck. Pretty.
More on the Salah side, right? Like, how do you expect the Salah situation to shape up from here?
No, see, one advantage or disadvantage, whatever you call it, December 15th, he's going away for AFCON. So
Hmm.
the fact that he's going away for AFCON, he'll be out for at least 2 to 3 weeks, like easy 2 to 3 weeks, at least till New
Yeah,
Year.
and if
And
Egypt go all the way, then it's
yeah,
probably is going to be out for a month.
for a longer time. Yeah. So depending on that, and it's a very heavy fixture
Fixture, yep.
period of the season. So depending on when he comes back, how the team is playing, you'll know how he kind of behaves. See, if in
Yeah.
his app the team performs well, I don't see a point where Slot changes that, because last year the one thing, if something that we had to be
Hmm.
critical about, was that he didn't rotate as much. So
Right.
if he's a winning formula, actually, if you remember, there were a run of 3 games: Aston Villa home, Real Madrid home, Man City away. The exact same team played all 3 games, maybe one
Yep.
player up or down. So if he finds a formula at this point, he's really looking to put a run together. So if the team does well, I don't see Salah coming into the team. But if the team does badly, then it is almost like Salah comes back vindicated like the king, saying, "Hey, I've gone away, you're losing," and whatever. So
Yeah.
that is not a good situation, because if the team loses, he comes back with a smirk on his face.
Hmm.
Nobody's going to want him. Nobody's going to, because that is when he'll have truly made it about himself. So
Yep.
practically, it is not black or white. I see Liverpool winning some. I see Liverpool losing some.
Yeah.
The best case scenario is in the next. Like, I don't think Salah is going to play till he leaves. Like, honestly, I
Hmm.
don't think Salah is going to play till he leaves. When he comes back, I hope Liverpool are in a better mental space and a space in the
Right.
run where he sits down, talks it out with the club hierarchy, because there is a January transfer window. He's
Right.
gunning
And he's
for
also sort of
to win.
timed it very, call
Yeah.
it in, sweetly in his favor, in the sense that should there be a move out of Liverpool triggered, then it also gives him the time to, sort of, or the market to be sort of,
No, honestly,
be ready for this.
I don't think it is something that is out of question, in the sense that when, like a couple of years
Yeah, all
ago, when,
options are open at this point. I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's a, and honestly, if he feels, or if the club feels this situation is not going to be fixed, like, what better thing to do than say, "Well done, brilliant, amazing service, wow, what a player."
Yeah.
Let's end before it gets ugly. It's already getting ugly, but let's try to call it
Yeah.
quits when we, like, that is probably where I would want it to go, if that
Hmm.
is where. And honestly, like, I don't want to see a good player leave, but you have to agree, he's 32, 33, he's not getting any
Yeah.
younger, and whatever. So
Yeah, and that's
yeah, I mean,
probably
that is.
also why there was so much deliberation around extending his contract, right? Like, now, in retrospect, like last year, it felt very obvious thing because he was in such rich vein of form. We felt that, yeah, he should be given a contract earlier. But in retrospect, now that you see this, this is also probably one of the reasons, like the Liverpool's or
No,
leadership team sort of contemplated how to take this forward.
no, that's true. But honestly speaking, I still believe it was the right decision that they made to sign
Yep,
him on contract, because in the summer Liverpool recruited from a position of power.
correct.
They would have had to recruit from a position of worry, from a position of desperation, and you don't know where that would have gone, right? So that's why I think that was the right decision. But yeah, I mean, we'll only know with time, right?
Time.
Uh, Now, like coming back from Salah and onto the
Mm-hmm.
team, um, I mean, I know the team is doing horribly. Like, obviously,
Yeah,
they are able to keep a clean sheet. Their midfield is too open. The attacking patterns are lost all over the place.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we are very nervous. Like the Anfield fear factor is gone. Like
No,
pretty much.
no more
Sunderland,
the mentality monsters we once
yeah,
were.
I mean, Sunderland came and showed us like how to play at Anfield. Like they were brilliant.
Right.
And now it makes me think the Liverpool Real Madrid game, which we thought was wow, what a win. It's basically two bad teams playing out a game of low quality, because Real Madrid are going through one hell of a slump, and I honestly see Xabi Alonso getting sacked, because Real Madrid don't
His
hold
next
on.
fixture is against City, which is it's a tough fixture. Like City have been blowing hot and cold, but you never know which city is going to turn up that
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
So yeah. Mm.
No, honestly, Real Madrid are not patient with their managers. If they see the manager isn't working out,
Yeah.
I mean that's it for him. So I mean it'll prompt a different conversation altogether. I don't want to get there right now because it'll digress. But from a Liverpool perspective, like let's say,
Mhm.
like if you like everything is horrible, bad, fine. Let's start with the
Yeah.
positive. Do you have can you like do you have a few players, or do you have anybody in your mind who you can think can help hold their head up high in this rough time for Liverpool?
Um. Definitely, l- there have been many good performances or many individual good performances. Hands down, like Dominic Szoboszlai has to
Yeah,
be the number one or prime candidate. That
yeah,
there's no argument there.
yeah, yeah,
I would say he's sort of closely followed with like Hugo Ekitike. Overall,
yeah,
of
yeah.
the new signings, he seems to be the one who seems to have fitted well in the team.
Oh, brilliant.
Has sort of the theoretically or technically speaking, sort of he has all the skill sets that you would want to be in this team, movement and work ethic. So I will give him, he'll be my one of my picks. Third one, yeah. Now this is where it starts getting difficult. It's if you go by numbers, Cody Gapco might be there, but I don't personally like what I see from him overall in terms of a complete package.
Yeah,
Hence, I would not actually name him. I'd probably pick Connor Bradley. I know he's been injured overall, in and out. He's not been like consistent. I won't say he's not been consistently available, but I
available.
think the games that he has played, he has been consistent. He has been quote unquote reliable.
Yeah.
Like even if you look at the timing, uh, we started to crumble after he was sort of substituted.
Yeah, that's
Like
fair.
so not to say that had he been there we would not have done that, but
No, no, that's fair.
he sort of brings that calm, more defensive minded right back of the different options we have, and then he also proved that he can go ahead and like whip in a
Uh,
cross or two. So I would nominate, if I had to pick three players, these three would be my go to ones.
Actually, I was thinking of Connor Bradley. That was actually a very good shout on your part, because
Hmm.
he may not be the fastest or as technically gifted as Trent, but he's definitely putting
Industrious.
in that hard. Yeah, industrious. Industrious is the right word.
Yeah.
But I actually the third one, I would actually pick a certain Curtis Jones over a Connor Bradley,
Yeah, sure.
simply because Liverpool lad, as Bradley also is, but
Scouser.
yeah, Scouser. Like he gave that interview in the press after when he
Lead
really
up
got
to,
out
yeah.
all. But if you look at how this team is performing, what Gravenberch probably was doing last year, you see Curtis Jones doing this year, in the sense that even in the last game or the week prior against in Sunderland, Ward's goal was created after Curtis Jones came on the pitch. He
Yes.
was the one who was playing those through balls, who was playing those cute passes, that tenacity. He broke the game open. And even last week, if you see, a lot of times he was the one who was running, bringing control to the midfield, trying to hold on to the ball, playing the ball passes forward. We didn't do much with the passes that he played. That's a
Yep.
different story. But I definitely feel like he has been somebody who is wearing his heart on his sleeve. Like, he is putting in the hard yards for the team.
Indeed.
He is honestly running. If you had a Soboslai part two, it was
Mhm.
Curtis Jones, which I really appreciate because he himself has been known to be injury prone and all of that. But the way he has actually shown the leadership skills, because he was the under 19, under 21 captain for Liverpool,
Captain.
like,
Yep.
time. So the fact that he's showing that leadership skill in the team when the team is going through a rough time is amazing to see, and I
Hmm.
really want to call him out for that. Now, after three good players, see, you have a lot of bad ones,
Yep.
fair, but I don't. We don't want to like say they are for Liverpool's like downfall. But do you have three players that you will rate as okay? They're the ones who are struggling the most, like from last year to this year.
Yeah, I think it got to be the defense, and when you say defense, I think uh, I I don't I don't know. I don't feel like explaining much. I just take names. I'd probably put like Konate, Van Dijk, and to some degree Kirkes. Kirkes, I still feel Kirkes is the one probably I would want to talk the most because he's a new signing, and the other two, I am perplexed by what they are going through, and I'm sure
Yeah,
they themselves are perplexed about what's happening or why or how are they even ending up doing the things that they are doing. Kirkes overall, I think is still a solid player overall. It's just that he's not been able to sort of strike that rapport with Gapco,
yeah.
and hence sort of both get caught up in like no man's land and out of position and not to know what to do. Uh, Defensively, Kirkes is struggling in the sense and struggling to an extent that he's not even like being able like doesn't his body language doesn't seem to be capable enough to like put up with the duels and like fight. That's one thing. But overall, the pros for him is even at Bournemouth, I don't think he did like really well in the first season. It was the second season and and his sort of last season at Bournemouth is when he sort of blossomed, when he was settled and he was able to whatever establish himself. So I think I'll give him that sort of leeway and be like he's still learning the trade. And I'm sure by this time next year he will be much more sort of established and much more like grounded overall. But again, yeah, my three picks would be the two defenders and the and Kirkis.
I mean, Konate, hands down, he seems to
Mhm.
be a nervous wreck. Like, I think
I
this.
s- yeah, sorry. I The one thing about Konate I was going to mention was, and this is a bit unprofessional and also a bit on a comical side. I thought he was, engineering. He was, he's putting up all the bad performance to sort of engineer a move away from away from Anfield,
But
only to have
only to have Real Madrid apparently pull out of the move
of
for him,
any
saying,
interest
"Oh,
they
you're
had on him. They're like, dude, if this is what we are going to get, you guys might as well keep him for free.
no." That's see. I mean, honestly, it is appalling what he is doing. Like, he
Yeah,
has good moments, but he seems to be a nervous wreck. Like, that's literally how I'll describe him,
yeah.
because some of the passes, some of the positioning play that he's doing is just coming from a point of where he wants to do too much, or he just doesn't know what to do. Like,
Yeah.
that is where it is. Van Dyke, see, I'll the only reason why I won't put him as one of our worst performers is that Van Dyke does not have speed. Like, we knew Van Dyke does not have speed. Like, I think over the past 3 years, ever since he came back from the ACL, we
Hmm.
know. So I if you're gonna put the team in a situation, put him in a situation where he has to run back. Sorry, your that is your recipe for disaster. The only thing I will say negative about him is that he has not been able to instill that confidence in a Konate, in a certain like Kirkes, in a Mamadashvili
Yep.
when he played, to say that okay, let's band together, let's keep the nervousness out, let's go for it. That is what I will criticize him for. But I mean, some of the goals were obviously shown as bum. It's just, I mean, that same way of defending has worked for him so far. We've
Yeah.
praised him for that, and like now it isn't working, it is looking bad, so we are obviously criticizing him. I'm not saying he's absolved of criticism, but he's not probably the worst performer. I'll put, yeah, I mean, Konate number one. I'll say Kirkes because I think he really is struggling, and honestly, the way how Jurgen Klopp used to do it, a new player, give him time, let him assimilate, let him understand the tactics, let him understand what the team
Right.
is doing, what, and especially when you have a Robertson fit. See, if your Robertson was unfit, I agree. Like you have to play Kirkers, there is no way out. When Robertson is fit and firing, and honestly, whenever he's played, he's looked very good.
Yep.
And I agree. Last year we were asking for Robertson to be moved, and
Towards the end of the season, yeah, he seemed a bit
no,
iffy.
actually, throughout the season, Robertson wasn't that great. And honestly, like starting with Kirkers the first few games of the season, I don't have a problem. That's okay. But once you see he's going through a rough patch, take him out of the limelight. He's a young player. Player Robertson is, he's an international captain. He will be able to handle the pressure.
Yep.
Give Kirkers the time to understand the system, maybe
Yeah.
build the relationship with Gakpo in training, maybe do get that relationship going forward. I think that is more on Slot than on Kirkus,
Oh
I
yeah, I
feel.
agree.
Uh, and like so, I will probably say Konate, and I have to
Hmm.
put in Kirkus because technically he has been a weak link. And third, Gakpo. See, Gakpo has the number. No, I mean, I honestly
So go for
justify
it. Go for it. You have this is your
not
space.
personal, not personal biases. That's true, but like in the last couple
Mm.
of games when I've seen, Gakpo has been so one dimensional that so many times when there has been a counter attack, there has been a pass made to him where he can maybe make use of it. He has looked almost like he's telegraphing to the defender what he's going to do, which is a problem for me. And he might have the numbers of, say, okay, whatever, 3, 4 goals, 2, 4, 5 assists, and all of that. But if you actually watch the game end to end, you see for that one goal or one assist, how many chances he's missed, how many moves he's broken down. That is
Yep.
kind of the bigger problem for me. If Salah is incapable of taking defenders on, if like your words isn't strong enough to take defenders on, you have to be the man. See, you are the winger. Like you know who went before you in that position in Luis Diaz.
Yeah.
So the fact that you are unable to do it and repeatedly, and relationship with oh man, like Kirkes is appalling, dude. I mean, I it's like
Mm.
Kirkes doesn't know when he's gonna pass. Gakpo doesn't know where Kirkes is, and that's a broken left side,
Yep.
pretty much. So I'm gonna put him more on that.
Sure.
See, the words haven't done greatly, and
I was
and
about to bring up Isaac and be like, yeah, he's probably my special nominee for.
I mean that is totally fair. See, I they haven't done well. Like Isaac
Mhm.
hasn't done well. Words, sure. I mean, on paper he has created chances and all of that, but in the moments when you expect a player of his
Yeah.
quality to make something happen out of nothing, he just hasn't. He just
Yep.
hasn't,
Agree.
which is a problem for me. And it's not like he hasn't had chances. He had
Yep.
chances, he blew them. But the one reason why I'm not putting them up there is the new players. Firstly, Isaac, with all of the saga drama, everything going on, I don't know how fit he is,
Hmm.
he because he doesn't look fit. He is not running. He doesn't look fit or confident. Words, you saw in the first 10 games, he struggled physically. Man, everybody was just bullying him off the ball. So, and they're new. Gakpo, I feel, has been there in this league, has known what it takes. Similarly, Kirkes has been there in this league. He knows what this league is about. And you're still making those elemental errors? I don't agree with that. So, I mean, having said that, it's unfortunate to see where Liverpool are at. But one
Oh.
thing that you can probably draw some positivity out of is that
Hmm.
Aston Villa. at the beginning of the season.
They lost like two, three, 4 games in a row.
No, not
They were
only for, they were one of the only teams to have not scored a goal till some 4 or 5 games in the season. Like that
God.
was horrible they were at. And now
Yeah,
they're, I think, or are they third? I
I think
think
they're
they're
third,
second or
but yeah, but great, great run of games and recovery.
together. You get that confidence, you can really go up, because if you think about it, a lot of teams are struggling. Chelsea is on and off, Man City is on and off, Man United is on and off, Newcastle is on and off, you see Bournemouth on and off, Brighton on and off, Crystal Palace are one of the top runners, which is unbelievable. Kudos to Glasner, and what a decision to keep Guéhi.
Oh
but
my
uh,
God,
but I
let's not
mean,
go there.
yeah, the point is, so many Nottingham Forest have fallen off a cliff. Even Tottenham are looking so bad. They are looking so devoid of ideas.
Yeah,
The point is, the league, the top four hasn't yet gone away. It isn't
no,
out
yeah,
of.
for sure. Like,
So, because of that, if we can put a run together, get your head right, win one game, another third, fourth, maybe you will be able to get there. Who knows?
yep,
But now, coming to a special mention, I know both
mm,
of us have Chiesa in our minds. I mean, he is very unlucky. Like Gakpo is injured now for Inter Milan, and Chiesa is ill. Like I don't know what to do about it.
he got
But
ill as well. Yeah,
yeah, the one thing I love, I absolutely see again. I don't know if he can last 90 minutes. Only Slot and the medical team and the club can know that.
mm-hmm.
But the one qualm I have is, at least give him a chance. What's the worst that can happen? He
Yeah,
plays 40 minutes, he breaks down, fine. You bring your Gakpo on, you have an Engamoa, you have whoever can play. At least give him a chance, because let's see, he scored against Bournemouth. He is assisted against Crystal Palace. He is saved.
he saved exactly. He saved us from losing 3-2 at Touchland. Let's
Yeah,
put it
I
that way.
mean, he had a goal line clearance against Sunderland. He is pretty much. I mean, he had those two assists against Southampton in the
Yep.
League Cup game that we played. Pretty much in. I think even against Man United, wasn't he the one who created the Gakpo's goal? Like he has had an impact whenever he has come onto the pitch. So somebody who is that X factor, who's probably giving you exactly what you're missing. He takes players on. He's attack minded. He has a very good strike. His strikes are mostly on target. Give him a shot at the left wing. What's the
Mhm.
worst that can? Like I would have liked that from Slot. Like yeah,
No, yeah, for sure. I think you sort of summarized it. Summarized it all well. Only thing I would add that would make his selection more convincing is probably he gets himself renamed to, like, I don't know, Federico Van Chiesa, and call himself Dutch, and then make a very compelling, ask or charge for Slot. Yeah, man. Like, it's been, overall, it's been something is truly puzzling. Is truly what's happening with him, and what's been happening with him for over a season and a half. It's like, why is this dude not playing? What sort of injury is he picking up that we don't see him in clutches, or being sitting out somewhere, somehow always seems to be around but still doesn't get to play. But yeah.
yeah. That's definitely true. But I mean, now, like, I wanted to ask you, in
Mhm.
terms of, like, okay, we've spoken about players and all of that. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think Slot is doing wrong? Like, as a team, it can't just be the players, right?
I Yeah, no, wow, it's a very difficult question to answer, in the sense I somehow feel that I know going to be a mix of both, the manager, the tactics, and the players, but I honestly feel and I also think that it's a mix of everything. I'm going to lean more on the side of some sort of high caliber errors from like top players that has sort of made us look bad overall. The one thing notably that I would pick Slot on is definitely the way he has chosen to blend players in, or the lack of it, he's somehow like thrown all of these players out on the field. And I'm guessing he's also a bit pressured to play them because we've spent so much on them. So he has been forced to do or put them all at once. So that's sort of very experimental, and in stark contrast to what he's been doing or what he's been done over the course of last season, where he didn't really change much with the players, in the sense he had a 12 to 15 member squad by and large that he played around throughout the entire season, and tactically he was more sort of nimble and flexible. That is how I would put it. So I would say Slot personally is the biggest thing that has not worked out for him is the fact that he's probably been too experimental, too many changes. And I remember you rightly had called this out at the beginning of the season, and you were like, fearing this, that too many big names and too many new signings, it would be difficult to blend them in, and rightly so, we sort of find them in that spot. So that's the one big thing that I would want to call out on Slot. Uh, Another thing that I've also put on Slot's sort of bucket, or against his name, is I think it's sort of less spoken about, and we don't know how that plays in. Like last year, Slot had Johnny Hatinga as his sort of
Yep.
special performance course or something, who was also like a defender from back in the days. So I'm not
Yep.
able. I'm just trying to my thoughts go to him and him not being around, and has that changed? Uh, you know, has that
In
changed how the defensive sort of tactics or communication goes up to the players? uh that those are the things that I would probably call out on what's happening
That's
on
actually
the
a good
slot
call.
side.
That's actually a very good call on Heitinga because like Gravenberch's like transformation into a CDM and a lot of other
Yeah,
things were actually attributed to the work that Heitinga did with him. So maybe a lot of the newer players might have succeeded or had more time, more
maybe,
chances
you
of success.
never know exactly. He was definitely someone. Johnny Hattinga was someone who was known to sort of work with the players
Yeah.
individually, and bring them along. So probably
Yeah, I mean
that's one of the missing
that's
pieces.
a good call. I completely missed that. So that's a good
Yeah.
call. But in terms of slot, right? Like the one big thing that I have a complaint for him is that Soboslai has to play every game. There's no doubt about it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like playing him at right back or playing him at right wing is
Mhm.
actually taking away the best position that you could play him
Correct.
is
Yeah.
at central because his engine and currently honestly last year's biggest complaint about Soboslai was his lack of an end product. He doesn't score enough, he doesn't assist enough, he's just
Yeah.
there, the numbers, he runs great but doesn't really have much to show for it. This year I think his numbers are unbelievably off the roof for him because he scored in the last game.
Yeah.
uh, did he assist against Sunderland? Like who scored for against Sunderland? I don't remember. I thought he assisted or something. Whatever. Yeah, I think there was a corner or something like
Yep.
where we scored Sunderland, I believe.
Mhm.
He has obviously scored against like a couple of goals in against
Arsenal, the
Frankfurt.
worldly.
Yeah, he scored the worldie against Arsenal. There was another game in which he equalized for us. Was it Brentford? I believe it was Brentford where he scored, or not Brentford. One of the games recently in the
Mhm.
recent run that we had, he scored a goal. Where the one goal that we scored, like he has had a lot of impact in terms of how he has made a difference. Like in terms of how he whether he has scored a goal, or assisted goal, or whatever. So I feel like your best bet is to actually play him back at number 10.
Yeah.
Maybe just play him centrally where if not anything you're going to be using his pressing ability to the best because there are so many clips of the game against Sunderland where their defenders are able to literally walk out of defense with the ball. Like there is no pressure on the ball, nobody is closing, nobody is even
Yeah.
near, and they're able to just walk over with the ball, which I think is a problem. So like we need Soboslai there, and like one big. I mean, obviously Gakpo playing Gakpo, I don't really understand that, but I feel like Ekatike should not be benched. Like no matter what you say,
Yeah,
you Isaac along with Ekatike, maybe play Ekatike off the left. Like, that's okay. But Ekatike should play.
I think
He
that's
is
that's probably going to happen against Inter, where Ekitike would
no,
start
I mean
of the
that
left.
is probably happening out of necessity. Like that is
Yeah, yeah,
not what I
yes,
like. It should be a tactical move that the manager makes because Ekatike is your most informed attacker. Period.
yeah.
He has that goal scoring touch currently where he is able to be in the right place, right time, and he's able to finish those clear chances, like the chance he scored against Leeds.
Mhm.
He is your best attacker currently, inform attacker. You make use of it because if you think about it, there are moments when Liverpool are pounding on the defense on their like back line, but we are not able to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yep,
You never an informed striker can score that chance, which probably a less confident Isaac misses. So
sure.
play Ekitike, maybe play Isaac. I don't know where you stand, where slot. I mean slot and the medical team
Yep.
stands on that. Maybe play both of them. Like this might be a blessing in disguise. Play two of
I would also look at it like that. Yep.
yeah. I mean you never know. You play that what 4-2-2-2
Like a
box formation.
diamond, or I don't know, it could play like
I I think a box because you play two CDMs because we're defensively really open. You
Mhm.
play a Gravenberch and maybe a Curtis Jones or a McAllister there. You play a Words and a Soboslai as those half space players who can push out as well as stay in. And then you play Isaac and Ekatike who can maybe run off each other. One can go wide and run the channels. So I mean, at this point you don't have wingers. Like
Yeah,
you don't want like Chiesa and Gakpo are injured.
yep.
Engamo has to be pushed into this situation. He should at best come on as an impact sub.
A sub
But
for sure. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, start this formation. You never know. It might just be something that clicks because I don't know if you remember this. Um, this is I'm going like way back in Brendan Rodgers. I think second last year. Yeah, second last year in charge. Like the year after his title charge, which we just faltered.
hmm.
Uh, Liverpool, after that summer, sold Suarez, brought in a lot of players for that, and then we tried to play the same way, and we were shit. Like we were pretty much shit, losing all over the place, not doing well. One thing that he did brilliantly was he switched formation into the 3-4-2-1 box formation, where he basically played Emre Can, Skirtle, and Sako, I think, as the three centre backs, where Emre Can was the one who would bring the ball out. Like he was a CDM who would bring it out. And then the best thing he could do was he put Henderson and was it uh, Lucas Leva? I think Lucas Leva. I think it was Henderson and Lucas Leva as CDMs, and he played a certain Coutinho and Lalana as the number 10s. Coutinho and Lalana, with their creativity, were able to unlock so many opportunities for the team where they actually created chances. They we went on a run of 8 games or 7 games where we were unbeaten, we
Hmm.
were winning, and we actually made a run for the top four places. And even Jurgen Klopp's route, right, where we were like really bad in Nunez's first year, he made the transition of inverting Trent into the midfield, and then we started like winning games and almost
Which yeah,
top, yeah, top
I think
four. I mean, I feel like you need some tactical ingenuity because what you're trying, the basic isn't working. It just plain isn't working.
yeah. No, that is for sure. I agree. You need to try something different. I just wanted to add a point on the Soboslai note that you brought in was I think he's been one he's versatile when he's been doing well. Also, I think positionally since right back sort of inverts becomes a midfielder, and then the right midfielder or right wing is also, will also use that to sort of provide cover for Gomez. Is also
Right.
is the reasons why he's being played out of positions, because he's the only player he's, as versatile, and he's also sort of the plug the hole kind of a player right now.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
just being used all over the place. But yeah, I mean, I would agree. Tactics is definitely a place where he can start. Um, that is, at this point in time, what's worse that's going to happen, because we
Exactly.
if this
Exactly.
doesn't already feel like the lowest low, I don't know what else will feel, because
Exactly.
honestly, Inter Milan is going to be a tough game, and
Tough.
especially at Inter Milan, because
At
even
San
though
Siro.
they have a new coach in Christian Q, but they've been really doing well. They've been like second in Serie A, and just 1 point behind Napoli, so they've been doing well. And
No,
yeah, like,
traditionally Milan have been an amazing team. They have some really good workhorses who make the difference, which
yes,
is a
correct.
big deal in this game. So, I mean, I'm honestly fretting that match because it's not the best game
Hmm.
to play when you're in such a bad vein of form. But
Yeah.
maybe the one positive I can take, we scored three against Leeds. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
we'll be able
I was
to
gonna
cover.
going to sort of pose you a question. Let's be realistic. I honestly, I'm not getting my hopes high. I think a draw somehow might be the best result for Liverpool here, given the sort of chaos and commotion and the
Yeah,
form and the lack of players. Like Gapco, arguably, for whatever he did or did not do,
one of the
was
fittest.
was just a fitter player, and was starting from the left for sure. Now he's injured.
Gakpo and Salah, for that matter.
Yeah, yeah. Salah chose his own destiny.
No,
Gakpo is
no,
out. Yeah,
from
yeah,
the
yeah.
Salah
No, no. I'm saying
perspective,
Gakpo is
right?
now out for a few weeks. Chiesa is definitely out for this
For this,
game. Sort of leaves Slot with nothing but nothing, like no choice. He, as you said, he has to tactically do something different.
yeah,
And what he actually came out and said and mentioned in the interview or in the press conference leading up to the game was he sort of tried to play some sort of 4-2 sort of diamond formation, where he played Gakpo and Hugo up top. So maybe he might resort to or going back to that, and
with
I don't know, he might do something of that nature.
yeah,
Remains to be seen. But my question to you was, let's unfortunately, let's call spade a spade. Let's say if we lose, there's a
yeah.
high chance here we don't
Which
really have
which
the
is
best of
probably
the team.
Inter Milan
E-
come as favorite, like for sure.
Correct, right? So, what do you think happens to Slot? Like overall, irrespective of this game's result, but let's assume he falters here as well. Liverpool don't get a result here. What do you think is going to happen? And to as a sidekick to that, do you think Xabi Alonso's position at Real has anything to do? Do you think that will further decide what, or yeah, what happens to Slot?
No, I mean, you know, that's a. I was really trying to not get there because
Okay,
it's
I made you go there.
a topic.
I mean,
No, but on a serious note, I remember me having this conversation with you offline,
mhm,
where like I'm basically going to echo whatever you said, in that if Slot does not qualify beyond the group stages of the Champions League, that's probably curtains for him. Like that is going to be the minimum he has to do. He's not getting into top eight. Like let's not kid
yeah,
ourselves.
no, that's not happening for sure. Yeah.
But how a certain PSG is too far out, but like how certain Man City even were able to, or even Real Madrid were able to at least progress somewhere
Mhm.
after finishing in the ninth to 24th kind of positions last year. If Liverpool can do that, maybe get lucky with a easier draw, maybe, and then move ahead, that's the only way he keeps his job. And honestly, like he has sacrificed the League Cup already. Like I can see that, and I know he's gonna sacrifice the FA Cup as well. Like that, I'm
Yeah,
not mentioning it. He's gonna play the kids, and I don't think we're going too far
yeah, and
in the league after having sacrificed two cups and Champions League wherever we are at. If we are unable to be in the race for a top four come this new year, like when I say come this new year, end of January is what I'm
mhm,
giving. By January, if we are not in the race for top four and it seems like we're actually kind of falling behind, at the same time, if Xabi Alonso gets sacked, I think that is going to be curtains for Slot because,
mhm.
like a couple of things, right? I think, again, this is something I have to call you out for mentioning in our chat offline. There are no contenders to replace Arne Slot if we do end up sacking him. Like there
Yeah.
was talk about Steven Gerrard taking on. See,
No,
as
that
much
would be very chaotic. I would rather stick with Slot than bring Gerard in.
no, I
I
mean,
don't really
as
think he's as good of
no,
as a
see,
tactician.
No, I mean, not as a tactician. See, a couple of things, right? Like, no matter what, see, as much as we love Steven Gerrard, we've at one point wanted him to be the next Liverpool manager after Jurgen Klopp. A couple of things can happen. See, he's not the most tactically astute. He's absolutely not earned that right to be a
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool. Honestly, he's not done anything extraordinary to say, okay, he's a manager in waiting. For sure not. But the one thing that he probably can bring to this team that Slot hasn't been able to this year is commitment. If Steven Gerrard at Anfield in Liverpool says you run, you run. I think that is basically what the club will be bringing him in for, if ever they
If
choose
at
to
all
bring him.
he, yeah.
Because it is pretty much like we don't know what to do. At this point, all we need is commitment from the team. Bring Gerard in, just let them F and run. Like that's basically what was Klopp's
Mm-hmm.
mantra. Right? You run, 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 you make your own luck. Like that is probably what Gerard will do, and sure. But honestly, I feel end of January, progression to the next round in Champions League and still being in the top four fight by the end of January. If both of these don't happen, or if either of them doesn't happen, I feel like Slot maybe gets sacked. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and Xabi Alonso is actually not going through a good time, and to the point where he's publicly calling out his players for not running. I remember a
Yeah.
quote where he says, "I like us playing 10 men better than us playing 11 men because at least we run." Like that is actually a very damning quote for a manager to say about his own team. And
Yeah.
secondly, Vinicius apparently isn't signing a new contract because he's not kind of going well with Xabi Alonso.
Mm-hmm.
And like we know how well Real Madrid backed Vinicius during the Ballon d'Or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
stupidity. So, I mean, having seen that, if and they are honestly falling off the title race. So,
Unfortunately.
if this goes on for a few more games,
Yeah.
I honestly see them sacking Xabi Alonso. Like I don't, and yeah, I mean, I don't see any other way that is going. And
Yeah.
if that,
I think I also sort of agree. Overall, I think Slot has a lot of credit in the bank despite
yeah,
all the string of bad results. And I don't personally think that even if we, let's say, lose at Inter, that is going to really
no,
change
I
the
don't think
the
Inter
stance
lost
as,
yesterday.
yeah, as such. But I think what can sort of raise some eyebrows or can get like Richard Hughes thinking at least is if Zabi becomes available. Like that's sort of I know what I'm saying sounds like it's indifferent to what's going to happen for Slot and results. Not really. If we turn this run of sort of results and start doing well, then Slot very well stays. As such, as I led with this, I believe apart from outside of his too much sort of experimentation and injuries now, I don't think he really has done a lot worse in a sense. Yeah, the point I'm trying to make is he can still turn this, turn the tide. Is my honest opinion. And overall, a lot of there are very like how do I put this? There is way more dynamic and moving pieces to this than just tactics. We it's very difficult for us to attribute what the overall morale of this club is, and something that is sort of intangible and non-qualifiable is sort of Diego Jota's laws as well. You don't know what players are going through. It's and hence I'm not going to talk much about that topic. It's sort of difficult to quantify, right? Whom and how much it has affected, and then overall just the morale, right? Because I see Van Dijk. He's usually seen to be someone as like a calm and composed defender, but you see him gesture and like throw his arms
Yeah,
up in the air and seem distraught also rubs on to the fellow players. I think, a few things, I know it's not as easy and it's easier said than done. There's few things that would need to change the most is probably the morale overall. These are like top players, let's agree. Like these are the same players that
not
won us the title last year.
the,
So it's not lack of skill set, it's more so sort of more fine tuning
yeah.
of the mentality to get them back to the sort of the winners, winners mentality or to that wavelength, and results will follow. It's more to do with that, I think. And I think it just starts with a couple of, wins, couple of, even if it's 1-0, 2-0 wins, just being able to keep that defense will help. The other most important thing is Anfield got to become the fortress
Yeah,
again.
a
Like you
fortress.
cannot, you or I mean, go away, tour to, the opponent's team's home and lose there. That's fine, but you cannot. It's inadmissible to sort of lose at, Anfield. So that's something that
No,
needs to
I don't-
change and, uh, you know,
like
start playing in the favor.
funny thought. Do you think we go hard for Guéhi in January?
Uh, we would or we should. Honestly, in the contrasting turn of events, it's as if Crystal Palace and Liverpool's fortunes have crisscrossed and swapped. Like I, at this point in time, if I were Gehi, I'd probably be
I
thinking, yeah, do I want to join Liverpool now? Now that they are in utter shambles and not really sure where they are going. So yeah, and that we know for a fact that now Real isn't pursuing Konate, then automatically Guehi becomes their prime option, I think. And again, free signing, right? So and unlike English clubs, they can like foreign clubs can approach and talk to the player in January as well. Whether he
Yeah,
would leave Crystal Palace in January is questionable. The way they are playing and
is it?
the way sort of Glasner plays his cards, I don't see that happening personally. Uh, but you never know. You never say never in football or in life. So
I honestly feel like in January we push for Guéhi. Guéhi asks for first team. He's gonna be a first team starter.
mhm,
At that point, given Konate's form and the fact that Konate has not yet renewed his contract, I see Liverpool offering both to Guéhi, a first team, like a starter and an immediate, like a whatever, a contract.
starter. Mhm.
Whether Crystal Palace ends up letting him go is a different story because Glasner, I don't know what he's done privately, but publicly has maintained that if they get a replacement in for Gehi, they are willing to let him go.
Yep.
If they basically tried really hard in summer, of course, Igor,
Was a bit
whatever.
too late to
Igor,
really get someone. I think. Yeah.
yeah, if they manage to get somebody who is good enough to be like a replacement for Gehi, we get Gehi. But because I feel like we get Gehi because like see it's Real Madrid is Real Madrid at the end of the day. Nobody, I don't think anybody says no to Real Madrid at any point. But I feel like uh how do I say, Liverpool have done the groundwork. They have spoken to Gehi. They have, I'm sure they've been in touch with his agent, so they will have that upper hand
And
with Gehi. But I don't know, actually. Before we end, like now that we've spoken about new signing,
mhm.
can you call out one player that was here last year who's the most missed this year in this team? Like whom you
Whoa.
think would make a difference? Like just, I mean, I didn't think of this question. I just randomly like thought
Wow.
about it
I,
now.
I think my immediate thoughts they go to Ryan Gravenberch in terms of
No, 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 no.
the
I am saying like who isn't at the club. Like I'm
oh,
saying
he's
who
in the
is.
club. I mean, hands down, Luis Diaz, bro. Like, I don't think that's even a question in the sense he is just. How he has I don't think he has not only maintained his form, he's probably like better at it after going
Yeah,
there. Like he's
100.
it's like scoring goals right, left, and center, and for funds. And some of the goals he's been scoring is like, whoa! Like, how do you even spot that gap to score such an acute, from such an acute angle? So yeah, I don't think I would, think beyond Luis Diaz. Like, arguably, Gakpo and all the comps we have with what's happening around on the left hand side of the field, he would have just walked in, fitted in like a glove here. But yeah, I
I,
mean,
you know, I want to like see if you hadn't said Luis Diaz, I would have said Luis Diaz, like no doubt about it.
mm,
But honestly, I feel Jota is an equally big miss as Luis Diaz. The only
yeah,
sole reason being he could play across the front line,
yep.
any position. Secondly, call it, see, you can't call him lucky given. unfortunately what happened in his life. Like he's absolutely not lucky, but he had that ability to be at the right place, right time to score a goal when we need it. Like call be it a header from a short man on the pitch, be it a scuffed left-footed finish, be it like a right-footed hit, or being like running onto a ball when he's playing badly and then just scoring a goal, or maybe some magical skill like he scored against
Mhm.
Everton last year. He has that ability to score a goal when you're really not expecting it. I think that is a skill which we are honestly lacking, or maybe in moments when things are just not going our way, his goals could have made that difference. Because you know what, like so many of Jota's goals last year, if you see, they have been either the first goal or the winning goal, or like some sort of an equalizer, or somewhere where he has changed the result of the game. Like a few that come to my mind are Crystal Palace away, he scored the only goal in the game when we sucked. Everton at home, he scored the winner. Nottingham Forest away, he scored the equalizer literally minutes, like seconds after he came on. You have another game where I think it was Brentford, right? Brentford at home. The first goal that Luis Diaz scored, it was Diego Jota's counter attack. It was a counter attack that they ran on. It was Jota's assist. Like so many times, I feel like he has been that player who makes that difference, where Liverpool go, oh wow, we're winning this suddenly. So I feel we are missing that X factor, which is unfortunate to say he's not here. And yeah, I mean I would have loved to say Trent, but given that defensively we are in trouble, he is not helping anybody. So I can't really say Trent at
Yeah.
this point. But yeah, I mean, all in all, having like said and done, um, I am absolutely doom and gloom. Like I feel really
Yeah,
bad.
for sure.
But
Yeah.
like what are you looking forward to in the next few weeks? Like in terms of
Like
games.
honestly not a lot. I would just look forward to simple things which now seem to be very difficult, which is, hey, are we able, like Liverpool as a team, are we able to turn up as a team, like sort of play as a team, show that cohesion, show that fight, show that hunger. I think that's where it starts. If we can start doing that, I think results will follow. Like it's not like we are not creating chances. We create just enough chances. We just got to finish them. More importantly, like defend as a team. Uh, that is the that is what I would look forward to the most. And there is way too much happening both in and out of the pitch and around the club. So it's sort of difficult to look much beyond than the next game, the next game. It's because it's how do I put this? Like there is no use, or there's no point in looking that far out. Like for example, 3 weeks ago we didn't really think we would be here and in this situation. So
Yeah.
and I think we just got to take one game at a time, one day at a time, and then go as slow as possible, as much as it's very uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
I somehow feel that in the hindsight, uh, with Salah going away, and going away for international commitments, sort of would be a good cooling off period overall. And I have
Yeah.
I would be definitely, I think, are open to Salah being back and being integrated and all the good stuff. And but it's just sort of blessing in disguise in its own way that there'll be some cooling off period now. Maybe the team overall gets to, I don't know, bond well and gel well, and then we are, hopefully we are, both mentally and in terms of like results, are in a place where we can sort of open, have Salah back in the team. So I'd probably put it that way.
Sure. And actually, before we leave, like I know I've been thinking about this.
Hmm.
I'm sure this is gonna be the least in our list of things that we wanna talk about. But I just wanna quickly call out, there are a few players that we have on loan, a few players we've sold, a few players kind of going here and there. are you following some of the players, and do you have any, like Luis Diaz absolutely lighting it up in Bundesliga?
Yeah,
But like, do you have any comments on any other players? I have one, but I'll
I
reserve it
have.
to.
Yeah, no, I have one. I keep an eye out for like Harvey Elliott overall. I He hasn't been playing. He hasn't been playing at all.
At
Being
all.
brutally honest, for over month and a half. And I think overall, based on what I've been reading, Unai Emery just has good things to say about him in terms of how his training, his attitude, and all of that. Which doesn't help, unfortunately, in the sense that he is overall a good player, and I'm being very, I don't know, very, how do I say, very dramatic here, in the sense, let's say if Salah were to leave for whatever reason, might just open up one spot for Harvey, who definitely doesn't have the pace as much as Salah, but I think he makes up with the work ethic he puts in. So that's, arguably that's something that can, be helpful for us. And overall, as a team, irrespective of what happens to Salah or not, if Elliot is not playing at Aston Villa, I might as well
But
have him at Liverpool and not play him. Point I'm trying to
yeah,
make is I would not want, a player of, his caliber, his potential to go elsewhere and warm the bench. Might as well warm the bench here. Might just offer us a solution or a solve,
you never know.
here and there now and then. So I would rather take that over, him being at Villa.
No, absolutely. Like that's spot on. Like 100%. I would rather have a player of his infectious energy at Liverpool in this time than rotting on Villa's bench. But you know, actually, the player that I have my eye out on is Tyler
Mm.
Morton,
Oh.
because
Hmm.
he's a player. See, we both play FM. In FM, he was a good player, not a
Yep.
great player. I always somehow had a soft spot for him, where I liked playing him, where I liked Tyler Morton being that homegrown player playing for Liverpool. It just never happened. But he's lighting it up at Lyon. Like, I
Oh,
mean,
is
I
it? I
think,
honestly have not been following, so I don't know. This is news
oh,
to me,
really?
but it's great. Yeah.
He's playing that CDM role for them. He's
Lovely.
actually raking, like he's playing those raking Kevin De Bruyne
Crossfield
esque passes
passes.
in that for Leon. Like literally the beginning of the season, he had one pre-assist for some goal by Leon. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally, he's a CDM. A winger is running. He's playing this long 40-50
Oh,
yarder defense. He intercepts and then crosses the ball to score. Like that was something where
nice.
I'm, and actually honestly, every time Leon plays, I check the score to see if Tyler Morton started, like how
Nice.
long.
Lovely, lovely. You know what that long crossfield or long range passes remembers me of, or do you know whom that it reminds me of?
Gerard or Jabi
No,
Alonso.
Xabi Alonso. But no, no, no. Let's not get all dramatic and get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean,
But
honestly, Harvey,
yeah, great call out. I have not been following
yeah,
what's happening with Tyler, but good to know.
as sad as it is for Harvey Elliott that he's not doing well, it's amazing for Tyler Morton that he's gone there and done well, where he's
Yeah,
actually making himself, which
true,
is
true, true.
amazing. Actually, even Kwanzaa, I haven't quite followed him, but
Mhm.
he like
He seems to be starting and playing most games
he
for
seems to be playing
Bayer.
pretty
Yeah.
consistent every game. Maybe not every game. They are
Mm-hmm.
not playing him every game, but he's playing okay. Like he's doing okay on and off for them. Ben Doak hasn't quite played for Bournemouth.
Featured for Bournemouth as much,
Yeah,
but
but
he scored
for
like the winning goal for Scotland that got
yeah,
them into the World Cup. So that's nice.
yeah. So he's doing well for Scotland, but is there anybody else that, I mean, I know you have Kumas and all on loan, Kumas, but
Yeah.
I they have done much. Do we have anybody else? Yeah, I think
Not
that's
that I
that.
could think of Koimin Kelleher maybe, but he's not on loan. He's like sold, and I think he's been
I mean, sold.
yeah he's been
Yeah,
decent for Brentford. So
yeah, he's been cool, but yeah, and it is kind of nice to see some of the Liverpool players, kind of ex players or current players on loan somewhere making a difference, and kind of contributing to the team's success.
true.
Uh yeah, perfect. So I think that is probably where I think we've gone ranted on long enough for this.
Way too much.
But
Yeah.
I mean, we had to get it out as Liverpool fans.
Well,
Like, share, and subscribe.
yeah. On the
And
note,
yeah,
have
we'll see
fun.
you guys
Bye.
later. Bye bye.